Hi, I'm Ashley from Sunny Made, and today we are going to talk about what to do with our leftover triangles from our quilt. Hi, friends, welcome back. I'm glad you're here. I'm doing a little bit different video right now because I decided that I needed to give my sewing room a quick cleanup between quilts. And I thought, okay, let's see if there's any quilts that I need to finish up. I'm trying to finish work in progresses right now. So that's kind of my focus. And I wanted to see what I could find before I start something new. And as I was cleaning up my sewing room, I came across a whole bunch of triangles. And in my mind, I always know what I'm going to do with them because why else would I have them? But I haven't ever done anything with them. And so I thought, you know what? It's time to do something with them, and it is time to put them to use so they're just not sitting around my sewing room. So let me tell you about my triangles. My triangles came from quilts that use the stitch and flip method. Stitch and flip is not my favorite. I don't know if you've seen any of my other videos, but if they come up, they're not my favorite. However, I do know that some beautiful quilts need that stitch and flip. And that's the only way to get the pieces to work the way you want them to work. So I had just finished, I guess back in November, making a quilt for my niece, and the whole quilt was stitch and flip. And it's a beautiful quilt, and I love how it turned out. But stitch and flip is so time consuming. But when I cut off that triangle after I've done the stitch and the flip, I end up with a whole bunch of triangles like this. And honestly, I sit here and I look at these and I'm like, oh, this is good fabric. Let's not get rid of it. I need to use this. And so I have a whole bunch of triangles here from a quilt. I have a whole bunch of triangles here from my niece's quilt. And then as I was digging through this one, I realized there's probably 3 to 4 different quilts in this one. So it's time to do something with these, or at least start. Yeah, let's just start because, you know, I do get distracted, which is why I have work in progresses and I just want to start something new. But let me show you what I plan to do with these. So first they come off your quilt and you end up with a pattern and usually a background fabric that you cut at the same time. And now you have 2 perfectly matched triangles. Okay, I didn't do it with these ones, but usually after a quilt that has a ton of triangles like that, I send them through the machine all at one time. So let me show you what that is. See how these ones are all hooked together? That's what I did. I line them up on my sewing machine and sew them right through. They're all hooked together with one stitch. And so I pull this out and I know this is all from one quilt and they all match. They're all the same color combination and they all match. And so this is how I've been storing these ones. So these ones are from one quilt. This set is from a quilt that I made last year. It's one of my heart quilts. It's kind of fun because they had big triangles and small triangles at the same time. So I have a whole bunch of these and I'm dropping some, it looks like. These ones are from a beautiful quilt. Oh, it was gorgeous. A beautiful quilt I made for my mother-in-law. I did not keep all of her triangles. I know I threw away a ton. There was a ton of stitch and flip. And so that's what these are. These are all cream, brown, and reds. So that's what she requested. That's kind of the quilt she wanted. And so these are all put together. So that's what I normally do. I first send them all through my sewing machine. And the truth is, when you send them through your sewing machine, it makes them stay together in their little triangle groups. This set needs to be sent through my sewing machine, but there is so many that I just, at the time, I didn't want to sit down and do it because sometimes I get lazy or I just want to move on to a new project, right? So I send them through my sewing machine. Okay. Then, like with these ones here, I iron them open, and then I put them in sets of 8. And so what I'm doing here is I'm going to create, surprise, surprise, some cute little stars. I love stars. Another thing you guys should know of me by now is I love stars. And so when I see triangles, I'm like, oh, look, 8 pointed stars. And so that is my plan for my triangles. I put them in sets of 8 for the points here. And then I took any leftover scrap pieces from making this quilt and I made centerpieces. So I trimmed the triangles down to 1.5 inches. My corner pieces are 1.5 inches, and that center piece is 2.5 inches. Now, I didn't have a lot of fabric to work with left over, and honestly, I'm fine with that. I really don't want leftover fabric. In fact, when I was making this quilt, I had so much leftover fabric that I ended up making a table runner to go underneath my sewing machine. And it's around here somewhere, but I had to change it out because my sewing machine moves on it. So this one has a little grip. So I'm glad that I made it, but I kind of wish that I didn't because now I want them for my stars. But so I have my leftover scraps for this. So not only do you get to use your triangles for this, you also get to use all of your scrap pieces. What's fun about these ones that I started making, after I ran out of pieces big enough to put in the center, I started sewing my scraps together. So here we have a triangle. This one, the corner, got a corner triangle. This one is the same color, the same fabric, but I just seamed it together. This one has straight lines, but honestly, they're all so cute that it's fun. So this is my plan to make with all of these, all of those, the rest of these. The other thing I did, I don't know how I'm going to put this together yet because I haven't thought about this, but I found pieces that were a little bit bigger and I turned them into bigger stars. Let me grab one to compare. See? Slightly different. These ones are 1 3/4 triangles, inches, 1 3/4 inches square. And so they're just slightly bigger. It's kind of fun to see the two different ones. I'm going to have to figure out how I want to put them together. I might put a border around these, or I don't know. We'll see. It'll be fun. So what I did is I made these stars and they have all the same fabric all the way around the points. And so if you want to know the measurements of these are 1 3/4, these are 1 3/4, and this is a 3-inch square in the middle. So this is my plan for my triangles. I'm going to put them together into cute little stars. Now, the question is, how many am I going to end up with? I don't know, because I have a whole pile here already. Okay, and then I have, these are all in sets of 8, so I have a whole bunch more. Eventually, I'm going to run out of centers, so I will use just 2.5 inch probably background fabric like I did in this one, and in the center. But also, if you want to get a little fun, you could put the colored fabric out with the points white and put color like your scrap fabric in the corners and make a white, like a negative square. That would be kind of fun. A negative star, I meant. So that would be kind of fun. Oh, these end up being 4.5 inches. These end up being 5.5 inches. So if you want to do that with 1.5 inch triangles, you're going to end up 4.5 inches. If you're going to do these with 1 3/4 inch triangles, you're going to end up at 5.5 inches. So I'm going to do that with all of these. I would eventually like to. So I love Bonnie and Camille. They are one of my favorite designers. I know Bonnie retired and only Camille's doing this, but I have all these beautiful fabric up on my shelf of their fabric or her fabric, and I eventually would like to make a scrap quilt with a little bit of all her fabric lines that I have been able to purchase. And so I will probably put these together into stars, and then when I'm done putting my other quilts together with her other fabric lines, I will eventually put something all together with a little bit of everything, which kind of is exciting. However, I'm pretty sure that Camille is probably going to keep designing fabric for a long time. But that's okay. I love her fabric. In fact, the summertime that's coming out this summer is fabulous. So a few ideas of what you can do with these when you're done. Okay, who knows how many you'll end up with? I don't know how many I'm going to end up with, but a table runner would be fun. Or, because this would be really cute in the spring, a spring table runner. Or like a baby quilt, you can make these and then do a checkerboard pattern with like a solid, which would be kind of fun to make it bigger. A wall hanging, make little mug rugs out of these. That would be super fun. So what do you do with your triangles? I'm interested to know. Do you keep them? Do you throw them away? How long do you keep them for? Obviously, with this one, like my mother-in-law, I kept so many triangles and then I threw them all away and then I kept more because I was like, oh, these are sitting around forever. But it turned out to be a beautiful quilt. I don't really regret throwing those other ones away. So what do you do with your triangles? Leave your comments down in the description box below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want to see what I'm working on, I'm at Ashley_SunnyMay. The link is in the description box over on Instagram. I will see you next week and happy sewing.